be that affordable to the people below the pyramid, solutions that are accessible to the people, solutions that are trustable to the people. So our goal as FISPA, we are advocating for financial inclusion.
The availability of financial services to Ugandans has significantly increased recently. Today, more than a half of Ugandans' adult population has use of formal financial institution account. The main cause of the surge is the entry and rapid adoption of mobile money, which has made it possible for 8 million Ugandans to undertake financial transactions.
No longer need a traditional bank account to transact or send money or open a savings account. You can do that on your phone through mobile money. Now, that is the problem that mobile money has solved in the last 10 years. Everybody can load money on their wallet. That wallet will hold your money, and you can send money to your grandmother in the village. You can send money to your supplier. You can pay your electricity, your water bill through that.
Within the introduction of COVID-19, a lot more people turned to internet for a variety of reasons, including employment, pressure, education, and commerce. However, thugs also profited as the volume of traffic rose, leading to increased fraud complaints. According to Henry Kevin Wava, the managing director, Digital Ecosystem Wallet, Ugandans should adopt a Know Your Customer KYC requirement to address the fraud problem.
I can tell you today is, like with any new product, there is what you call KYC. KYC is Know Your Customer. It's an acronym. KYC, okay? Know Your Customer in the financial services. In there, whom am I transacting with? Do you know who Henry Kevin Wava is? Where do I stay? What's my national ID number? What's my phone number? Where is my business located? What type of transactions am I doing? Do you have that information before you start transacting with me? If the answer is yes, and you know who my customers are, then it becomes easier to now know whom you're transacting with to prevent fraud. So
the main point is, how do we try to mitigate the risks? Because we can't stop development, we can't stop growth, but we just want to use technology to see how do we grow, how do we move from where we are right now to the next level, and so we're not left behind.
Data from a policy brief by International Care shows that since 2001, the government of Uganda has taken initiatives to increase adult access to formal financial services from 28% in 2009 to 54% in 2013. However, 2.6 million persons continue to be excluded, and only 2% of adults use insurance products. On October 13th, the Financial Technologies Service Providers Association, FITSPA, will host a conference with the theme Investment and Partnership and How to Thrive in Uganda's FinTech Ecosystem to identify more issues and potential solutions. Bedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now, away from that, civil society organizations have resumed their request for the prohibition of dangerous agrochemicals such as pesticides, herbicides, commodity chemicals, and fertilizers. The concerns about the ongoing use of dangerous agrochemicals like glyphosate-based herbicides have been raised by organizations such as Siatini Uganda, Food Rights Alliance, and the Center for Food and Adequate Living Rights, among other organizations. Ronan Ahawe has the details to this report.
Recently, the President of Uganda called for an immediate amendment of plant and animal health laws. He also called upon Ugandans to embrace the promotion and supplying of agrochemicals. However, Uganda has been ranked as one of the topmost hotspots of fake agrochemicals. Counterfeit levels are at 40%. We are estimated to be losing about 200 million in the production of these agrochemicals. We have more.
One, we are proposing government should put more research and and more resources in the production of organic and safe fertilizers and pesticides, and to commercialize them, because today those alternative organic fertilizers and pesticides are not really on a commercial scale. We're also proposing that government should issue an immediate ban on the use of glyphosate and glyphosate-based herbicides, as it has been done in so many countries.
CSOs called for government's regulation of trade and usage of very harmful agriculture pesticides during a conference with the slogan of life before profits. In terms of the nation's economy, agriculture remains the most important and dominant sector.
We are talking about life, and we are not talking about any person's life. We are talking about your life, we are talking about my life. Because what you eat determines whether you're going to live or you're not living, or you're leaving us in not even in the near future. You're leaving us shortly, very soon. So many of us, we are actually late so and so. We are only just having a few privileges of walking, but we are already dead. And we are already dead because of what we are eating, and because we have opened up our food system to these hazardous chemicals, and we are freely consuming them.
Trade justice experts claim that government needs to wake up and grasp the magnitude of this influence.
The latest that we have is 2014, and then it showed that the non-communicable disease in Uganda, 33% of Ugandans are dying because of food-related non-communicable diseases. And what everyone should be concerned about, I think, is the 40%.
The cancer loss. If your family has not had one, that is the extent. You know, we just have to put life to these figures. So the extent is as the expansion of the Cancer Institute in Mulago. That is the extent. The extent is as opening and running around to put, is it a radio machine?
Radiotherapy.
The radiotherapy machine in Zambia. We are about to put it in Health Center tools. That is the extent. So if you're lucky and you're watching us or reading about us or listening to us, and you haven't lost a relative or even yourself, then the extent is that extent.
Nevertheless, when Smart24 approached a trader of agricultural chemicals, he was aware of the banned products. He pledged to cooperate because this had resulted in a loss of 25% on his business.
And the Ministry of Agriculture, in collaboration with the UNADA and other enforcing agents, are actually phasing out these chemicals, namely diclovers. Diclovers, a pesticide killer. Other brand names are Lava, and that diclovers, the active ingredient. They're all being phased out. Everything that's possible to teach people, sensitize them against that. Definitely, there are those which are just smuggled into Uganda. But those which are through the ministry and used through the IT channels, they were there. Those days it was illegal and it was okay. But now that it's an international ban. So recent that the ministry has banned it, yes, it was coming, it was legal, but recently it has been found to be hazardous.
Ronana Habwe, Business Today, Smart24.
All right, now, one of the most important inputs for enhancing agricultural output in Uganda and considerably raising GDP is the use of organic fertilizers. To improve its efficient usage to reduce any negative effects, farmers must understand the elements that influence the use of inorganic fertilizers. In this report, we talk embracing organic farming. Naomi Mutumba reports.
The rains are falling, and farmers all around the country are worried about the various repercussions that are frequently brought on by prolonged periods of rain. Soil degradation invariably occurs, which therefore has an impact on agricultural products sold locally and internationally. Food preferences are shifting more and more in favor of organic options due to the expanding healthy living movement, Thus, farmers must satisfy the demand by cultivating organic food utilizing organic fertilizers. A survey on Ugandan soil mapping conducted in 2021 by the International Fertilizer Development Center revealed a severe nitrogen shortfall in Uganda's predominantly acidic soils. According to Nsubuga, the usage of inorganic fertilizers has led to extremely low yields, a persistent food crisis, and serious diseases like cancer in the nation. This is because soil degradation is a result of exploitation of the soils and climate change.
Driving farmers from using a lot of chemical fertilizers and to start producing with organic fertilizers. Our major campaign is to see how we can help farmers to produce what we call healthy foods. So we are trying to see how people can access organic. Majorly, why we talk about organic, we mean healthy foods. Chemical fertilizers and chemical issues, it's a lot of challenging issues in Uganda.
Growing knowledge of the risks associated with using inorganic farm inputs is necessary for organic fertilizers to fill the gap left by decreasing availability of inorganic fertilizers and become a viable source of income for growers. However, the soils will be able to gain nutrients in 3 to 6 months with the usage of organic fertilizers.
They are composed to look like this for easier absorption and water retention. So when you put this, for example, let's give an example of your grass at home. You have a compound and you can just put in the compound. The moment it rains, the soil is able to absorb the nutrients from the pellets. It will take about, let's say 3 days to a week to get fully absorbed into the soil, and then will last you about 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months for you to be able to actually report.
Even if someone has got 1 acre, we train them how to maximize that small land they have. You put a lot of fertilizers, you nourish the soil, you reduce on the chemicals, then you grow what we call a high value crop, like a hass avocado, like tomatoes, like beans, soya beans, mainly for export. Because the target group for the market, we use it for local market and we use it for export.
Farmers struggle to find a market for their products, especially when they are perishable or imported organic materials, which are subject to significant taxes. It requires value enhancements.
Because that matters a lot. The NPK value is what the content, the nutrient that is within the fertilizer. So we are able to, we market, first of all. After marketing, we bring out the truth of this is the composition of what should be in an organic fertilizer. There shouldn't be any chemicals that are going to affect both the plant and the soil. Because at the end of the day, organic farming, better life.
Like we had a lot of challenging issues with tomatoes. A lot of farmers grow some crops, mainly during COVID and so on. And you remember the movement was very limited. So some of the another challenging issue is the market for perishable goods. That's why we came out with the campaign of value addition.
Help us do what these guys do. We have the raw materials, we have the rotting matter and everything, but then let's say the machines and the mixers that can help us make what we don't have at the moment. We are not yet that resourceful to actually be able to make. So the people that have the capacity to do so are the ones that we also look at to bring. But if you realize that what they use is actually just organic matter or rotting matter.
The most crucial elements needed to promote soil fertility are phosphorus, potassium, and nitrogen. Calcium, magnesium, sulfur, copper, iron, manganese, and zinc are additional secondary components. Naomi Mtumba, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now as the Uganda Manufacturers Association International Trade Fair that takes center stage come the month of October, experts have urged the business community to prioritize networking above profit making after the business community expressed concern over the low profits that typically follow trade shows and exhibitions. Fred Makuya reports.
COVID-19 did not only affect other sectors, but also those who had the platforms to exhibit what they are in position to do.
Uganda Manufacturers Association is going to host their 28th trade fair this year, after 2 long years of break because of COVID.
Now, speaking to some of the traders here in Nakawa who are neighbors to the Uganda Manufacturers Association, they raise concerns of the prices regarding entrance and exhibition.
Initially, these exhibitions would help us due to the changing times. The project manager for membership at the Uganda Small Scale Industries Association, Walsimbi Andrew, has advised individuals to prioritize networking over earning money.
Exhibitor comes to these exhibitions. These small industries should look at how do I network? How do I make my business better? There is a lot of learning in the exhibitions. You look at the conferences that are in there. How do I get registered with my business? How do I get certification for my business? How do I get trademarks for my business? So when businesses come for these exhibitions, there is a lot of learning. And we think through these learnings, when they go back after the exhibition, they can be able to put some of these learnings into their businesses.
Asaba Adloff, a businessman at Nakawa Market, says he would like to participate in the show, but due to the exorbitant taxes and fees, he may not. The money needed is too high for such times. This may hinder us from going. According to the experts, these shows are crucial venues for conducting business and interacting with a variety of stakeholders.
If these exhibitions would have a way of creating a linkage between businesses and the consumers, and I mean, for me again at the exhibition, I would expect more than just an exhibition. When you have things like the banks being there, URA being there, the insurance companies being there, the customer gets empowered to know what decisions they should make.
In order to help their businesses grow and thrive, Walusimbi advises low-income individuals to join business association.
The advice I would give is they would actually join associations that can support them to get into different markets. But also, lastly, we need to look at joint working together.
The Uganda Manufacturers Association will hold this trade fair for the 28th times in Uganda.
Now, come next week, the Uganda Manufacturers Association, together with other different stakeholders in this country, of course, will be going through a number of exhibitions where different people will showcase of what they are able to do. My name is Fred Makubuya. Business Today, Smart 24 TV, driving business.
All right, now let's talk matters tourism, and it takes us to the Kasese area. The Rwenzori region's tourism industry is a significant foreign exchange earner that helps increase revenue, create jobs, and lessen the vulnerability of the poor by expanding the range of economic opportunities available to people and various households. Today, we look at Kasese district worth, especially its contribution to the tourism sector. Monica Nabionga visited Kasese, and this is what she got.
Kasese features flat plains in the south and mountainous environments in the north. Lake Edward and Lake George are located close to Queen Elizabeth National Park. In addition to having a lot of mammals and the most productive aquatic ecosystem on the planet and cultural hot springs, a world-class hiking and mountaineering destination with breathtaking views, the Rwenzori Mountains National Park is a home to over 70 animal species and 217 bird species.
Yes, we have all what we need for tourism. The facilities, the attractions, and everything. But the attractions we have Kasese, for example, Kasese Municipal Council is between 3 national parks. We have the Queen Elizabeth National Park, we have the Mount Rwenzori National Park, and this.
These hot springs are known as Chiriba Chatumba. Chiriba Chatumba is a local Chikonjo name. Chiriba meaning a pool, Chatumba meaning evaporation. So in general, the whole thing is an evaporating pool.
We have other heritage sites, like we have the Kiwa and the Kiriba-Chatumba hot springs. Today, we have very many visitors who come to bathe in the hot waters, the natural hot waters of those two springs.
No matter how gifted Kasese district is, the locals are only now catching up, beginning to enjoy wildlife. The government is making every effort to educate the community about how to coexist with nature and benefit from it.
Those days of COVID-19, we used to base our mind on the international tourists, but because of the ban of travels, we had challenges. That's why we are trying to see how we can develop our community tourism at a community level, such that the communities are our tourists themselves. They consume their own product.
However, there are still several obstacles that prevent the growth of tourism industry, including the local security and poaching in the area.
Kasese as a district had passed through very many security issues, and the people perceive Kasese as if it is an insecure place.
All right, time check 9 o'clock. When we return after the break, we've got a report on social media, one of the platforms there, and of course we also got something from the Coffee Court discussions. It's a bit interesting, trust me. We shall be looking at pet business in the Coffee Court. So stick around with us. Business Today continues shortly after the break.